All right, and welcome to the Best in Slot podcast, a Warcraft podcast by the community for the community. I'm your main host, Sparty, and of course, our co-host, Midgettes, the producer, the one that does all the work. She's here as well, joining us. This is episode 10. Today we'll be talking about the year in review and what we hope to see in 2018 for World of Warcraft. Hello, Midgettes. How's it going?
Oh, it's great, Sparty. We're in the last podcast of the year, the last day of the year, and we have all kinds of fun things to talk about. So what are we going to talk about?
We have quite a few things. We have our what's new in community. We were talking about Winter Veil. Really the presence of this year. We have some things to look forward to in 2018, our year of review 2017, and we've got a really good top 10 list at the very end for those of you fans of David Letterman style top 10 list. This one will be a hoot. You will like it, I guarantee.
Well, or if you don't like it, you'll have some things to yell at us about. One of the two.
Exactly. So let's get started here. So we'll start off here with our first little segment. What's new in the community? So what do we have, going on now in the community, Mitch?
Well, the Winter Veil contests are winding down. We need a few more screenshots, I think, but I really enjoyed some of the giving back to the community or paying forward stories. And I know we've given away some of the prizes, but what we want to do is to finish looking at those. And if you haven't participated, go ahead and do so. One of the things maybe we'll do is this evening, if Sparty's streaming for New Year's Eve, we'll go through some of the highlights of those.
That's really good. And so for those of you not familiar with these contests, so a couple weeks ago, Blizzard gave us a bunch of keys, transmogs, pets, mounts, the whole shebang. And the way we wanted to do it is, it's really the season of giving. It's Winter Veil. We want to pay it forward to other people. There's two contests running right now. One is basically just take a screenshot of you in your holiday garb, your Santa hat, your Winter Veil gear in front of a boss. Take a selfie. Throw it onto our Twitter, onto the Twitter post, which we'll include here as well. And that's really the only way. That's one of the ways to get the one of our prizes. And the other one is simply share a story of what awesome thing you've done this Winter Veil, something really good you've done for somebody else. And if you haven't done anything for somebody yet, well, now's the opportunity. Do something nice for someone in this nice holiday Winter Veil season, and then just share with us what it was. We had some really nice ones being shared. There was some with bags and some with gold and things like that, and people giving away game time, for someone that had the sub lapse, but some really nice, generous things going out there in the community right now.
And where do I post if I am going to share my pay it forward story or my best transmog?
So that's all on our Twitter at Sparty Smallwood. We'll link it here in the podcast as well for the last chances to enter, because we really want to get rid of this, get all of our codes. It's so hard to give away free stuff by the end of Winter Veil. So soon, give us another day or two. We'll tally them all up and give them out to you guys, because again, Twitter, Facebook, either of those, let us know, right? Share your awesome stories with the community.
Well, and it's appearances, mounts, and pets. My favorite, of course.
Of course. We did get our toys here from Great Father Winter, right? We did have the Hearth Station. What did you think of that one?
It was okay. I was sort of disappointed, and I was most disappointed with the weapons. I was hoping we were going to get to duel each other and have some competitions with it. But they're pretty cool looking.
They are pretty cool looking. I'll agree there. I think the Alliance, sort of wooden toy shield and sword are pretty cool. But I wish they were, more actionable. You could do something with it or face against off, a horde person with the same toy set. That would be pretty fun, at least. I guess you can duel them, but it'd be nice to have something like a foam sword rack, which is what you were hoping for in the last episode. Something we can use for future Guild Survivor episodes, or just even little community events, right? And the Hearth Station as well. I was hoping you could play against other people, more so than just a coin flip, but it's okay. I mean, it is pretty cool. It's really well done, really well designed. There's a lot of attention to detail there. But I think, I wish it would be a little more fun. That's all.
Well, we like the interactive stuff because we're always putting out some sort of competition or challenge. And so every time we get new toys, one of the things we're looking for is how to incorporate them into a challenge of some sort. So these were cool looking, but I think they missed the boat on having a lot of things to do with them.
I agree. The other thing is, for those of you, it's New Year's, right? It's New Year's for, I guess, the majority of the world still. We do have the in-game World of Warcraft celebrations. There's fireworks going off. Do you remember what times it's going off?
I think it's as soon as it gets dark, and don't forget to try it out with what is it, the dark ink potion,
Oh, that's
the
a good
inky
one.
potion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it
inky
looks
potions.
really awesome. Yeah, so, but yeah, it's once it's nightfall in Azeroth, you can go to your major city and see the fireworks, and it's
Okay.
fun. I'm pretty sure they have beer there too.
Well, perfect. That's what we need. Beer, champagne, and and fireworks. That's awesome.
So going forward, though, should we take a look at the 2017 Warcraft year in review?
Yeah, and that'll take us to our next little segment here, Tales from the Front, Warcraft-related stories. So there's a couple really good ones from 2017. I mean, it's been a pretty solid year in general. WoW had put out a really great year in review, sort of month by month, week by week, what happened in Warcraft from different Legion patches and things in Diablo and all kinds of things going on. Were there any really fun ones that sort of that came out here? Let's go through the list here. Yeah, the Chronicles Volume 2, that was a really good one. For those of you that are big lore fiends, the books there, it's up until the Shattering of the Dark Portal. What else? The Mage Towers, all the little fun artifact things came out as well. I don't know, I mean, it was fun. It's been really fun so far. Are there any really fun events that stick out with you?
I'm going to say, and I think you would agree with me, that the MDIs were by far some of the best things in 2017. But for Warcraft in general, I think that Legion was one of the best X-Packs that we've had. A lot of content. Arguably, it could be even said that there was too much content. But there was always something to log in to do. But I can honestly say, outside of BlizzCon, which is always my annual favorite, the MDIs, how they were put on, and the challenges they brought were the most fun that I've had with the esports for the year.
Oh, I agree. I think MDIs were by far the biggest highlight. I mean, for the small scale and the pilot that they were rivaling, BlizzCon in popularity. They had, 50,000 viewers, something crazy like that. None of the PvP tournaments have anything close to that. And I think part of it was the amazing casters that were there. Trekkie and Sloot and Automatic Jack and Adrian and there's one more guy. I can't remember what his name was. But yeah, I mean, they were awesome characters and they did a great job hosting those MDIs. I mean, I think we're going to see them again this year as a precursor to BlizzCon and hopefully some kind of championship dungeon run this BlizzCon, right? So looking forward to it. Again, great job by Blizzard on that one. Definitely a huge highlight of my year.
Well, and I'm fond of Sloot, so anything with Sloot, he always makes me laugh. Well, where do we see Warcraft going next year? What do we see as coming?
Well, we do have the 7.3.5 patch, which people are really looking forward to in terms of leveling changes and things like that. I'm expecting that one to come out in the next month, so probably mid-late January after people are back from the holidays, ready to flesh out the rest of the patch. Because it's been, isn't it a live release, I'm pretty sure? Or the live candidate, sometime soon. So that's the next
trademark.
Big thing. Yeah, soon trademark.
Soon
yeah, of course.
trademark.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure it's the leveling changes or if it's just finally answering if we have yet more stuff to add to our Crucible.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. More fun things. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the Concordance thing shapes up to be. I haven't been on the PTR myself to really check it out. But I mean, we do have Battle for Azeroth, right? With that expansion, should be going out sometime, late summer, early fall this year, right? By the latest?
I would think, but we're still waiting to see when the beta keys. Now, have you gotten any insider news on beta keys, Sparty?
Well, if I had keys, I would tell you I don't have keys, so I don't have any keys.
We're back to the keys again. I can't wait for another round of them.
I'm sure if and when we do get some beta keys to give out, either through the podcast or the stream, whatever, we will find some really creative ways to give them out. I'm a fan of giving them out through activities and community events, not so much re-rolls and Twitter and that kind of stuff. We want people to participate and really get excited for Battle of Azeroth. So it should be fun.
Darn it! You're not going to let me just create 15,000 tunes and keep rolling? Darn it!
Well, I mean, that might be fun for you, but not so much fun for me.
I think you're ornery. What about Classic? Do you think we'll see anything more about Classic this year?
No, and I mean I've listened to Tali's stream as well. Tali's have a similar mindset. It's not going to be during during Battle of Azeroth or anytime soon because they really need to capitalize on the hype from Battle for Azeroth and not have people go over to this whole classic thing. So again, with how early it was in the pipeline at BlizzCon and them still looking to hire developers and network architects and all that stuff, I don't think we'll see it until at least late 2019. So give it a couple more years before we see something more. We might see some more announcements about it at BlizzCon and throughout the year, but I don't anticipate to see it anytime soon.
Wonder how the community will react to that, but I tend to agree that it's going to take a little bit more time.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't like how late it is, maybe they can start a petition and see how that goes over.
We'll get some more petitions for Classic going out there.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll need them.
So for 2018, what would you, as a longtime Warcraft player, want to see this year?
So what do I want to see going into next year, starting tomorrow? Well, obviously MDIs. MDIs was such a huge highlight for Warcraft. We definitely need to see them in 2018 in some fashion. We do have the collegiate dungeon races, but the MDIs were just so well done, so good. That's my biggest hope right now. Outside of that, I mean, it's Warcraft. I've been doing it for 13 years. Whether it's legendaries or mounts or new raids, I don't know. I mean, guilds are finishing off Argus now, which means we might have a 5-6 months until next expansion potentially, which is summer. So we'll see. We will see what happens.
Well,
what about you?
I'm looking forward to seeing some of the new appearances, and I'm curious as to how they're going to do the PvP side of Battle for Alliance, because I'm going to call it Battle for it's Alliance. I'm telling you, and it's because I'm not somebody who enjoys PvP, so I'm very curious to see how that's going to develop. I know what I hope. I hope they're not going to penalize me because I don't like to PvP.
Yeah, well, we'll see, right? I mean, again, those are things that are announced early on into BlizzCon where they're not sure how they're going to flesh them out yet. Every single BlizzCon, there's things that are cut, whether it's being movable garrisons or whether it's Farallon or whether it's prime glyphs or whether it's, certain parts of professions. We'll see how it's fleshed out. They're going to do a lot of testing, I would imagine, to make sure it's fair. And for someone that does enjoy PvP, how is that going to interact with their experience for someone like me who doesn't mind going tank spec and just, I'm in a PvP world quest? Well, I'm not going to do the world quest. I'm going to kill everybody else, right? It's a different mentality, and, not everybody wants to do that.
Right, so it'll be curious to see. Well, and don't forget, what was the name of the capital city that they took out in Warlords that we were also
Farallon.
Upset about?
Yeah, the ogre capital, right? That was supposed to be there. No. It was on some of the early schematics and drawings, and then it was removed. And people, that was a huge uproar.
I'm talking about the Draenei capital. The beautiful area that we barely touched.
The town, the city, yes, in Shadowmoon Valley, yeah.
Yes.
I was hoping that would be a capital, right? That was a big upset, too, from the Alliance point of view. Right? Yeah, give the Horde their little rock huts, but we had this massive capital. It was hyped up that we were going to take the city back and use it for our own as a staging. No, we get our own little garrisons. Fine.
So it's just a good reminder that sometimes we don't always get what we hear about.
That's right. That is true.
So speaking of BlizzCon, what do you hope to see in BlizzCon this year? And are you still not going, or is that subject to change?
Yeah, so like I always say, that last BlizzCon was my last BlizzCon. We'll see what happens when tickets come out this year. We'll see if my wife allows me to go again for a few days. But I mean, it's always a great experience, right? It's, going to, 4 or 5 BlizzCons now. Each BlizzCon is less about the content and more about seeing the friends and the guild and, the family, as well as seeing a lot of the fans out there. So it's the good experiences with people. It's, having a beer. It's, grabbing some food and watching some of the shows with them. And that's what it's all been about. The rest of the content stuff I can catch up later on. There's, not something I'm looking forward towards too much. But again, MDIs, dungeons, that's what I'm all about right now.
Well, I think you should take Driaz. Speaking of Driaz, we missed her so. I have to say that her entire death due to the telephone week, Cora, was priceless.
So for those of you listening and to catch you guys up, Drea, as my wife, started playing with us again a little bit on Heroic. I invited her to come along because we had spots, and she's always been a great Mythic Raider. We bring her in for Kingaroth, and of course, for those of you who remember the Weak Aura package, right? When the Ruiner, that big green beam on Kingaroth, beams towards you, it triggers a certain sound. And so the Ruiner, just happens to spawn on her. And the Weak Aura is a big telephone ring, so having never heard this telephone ring before, she puts her laptop down to go answer the phone because she thinks it's our phone ring, and then she dies. And of course, she was laughing as the rest of us were at this Weak Aura, so it was absolutely hilarious.
Wake the baby.
That's right.
Wake the baby. It was
right?
just
like,
awesome.
Who is calling at this late at night? So
just remember, we love Dreas.
Well, with that, I mean, it's a lot of fun doing stuff together, and one great thing we've started doing as a community here is the hashtag BuddyBirds. So essentially, Death Jesters ran it for the first time. The last 2 weeks, we got a couple of our viewers here. We asked the other streamers, Zorania, Taoli, Firemancer, Cynical, or Scryx, to get some viewers as well. We want to bring people that are not able to kill Heroic Argus. They don't have a raiding guild, or they don't have the time to commit, and they want this really cool Violet Spellwing mount, which is the bird. It's a bird that changes colors. It's pretty cool. So we want to have people that aren't able to raid or have never raided before, but they want this cool mount. So what we're doing is we're carrying our buddies to get this bird. Right now it's just been whoever's been around in the community, I would say, hey, who doesn't have a raid team, who's never raided Heroic before? I'm not here to carry your 10th ult. I don't care about your 10th ult's Pantheon Trinket. I want to give legitimate to people that have not been doing this boss before, so they get the cool experience and the ahead of the curve and all that other stuff.
And what's really cool about that is one of your viewers responded on your Twitter when one of the first screenshots came out and suggested that maybe we should have something where they can nominate people who would be a great fit for that.
I think that's a great idea, and I tagged you on that tweet. So viewers, if you guys have a friend that is not a Heroic Raider, is not going to be killing Heroic Argus anytime soon, and you would like to nominate them to get a kill from us, yeah, for sure. Why don't you email us? We now have an email account, bestinslotpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know who it is. Maybe write something nice about them, who they are to you. And then, of course, I will more than happily carry them through Heroic Argus with my guild. We're typically do them right now Thursday evenings or Sunday evenings, but we'll make whatever work, right? We have the Zeros to Heroes groups that are also going to be helping us out with some of this BuddyBird stuff, and I know a lot of other people have volunteered to help out because it's a great initiative for the community.
It is, and I know that the team that I run with is normally doing it on Wednesday nights.
No, perfect. Well, there we go. I mean, we're going to have a bunch of groups running these together. And yeah, again, if you have someone as a friend that you want to nominate for a BuddyBird, right, for Heroic Argus and everything that comes with it, just, again, email us, bestinslotpodcast@gmail.com.
Well, speaking of raiding Argus, I see that Death Jesters is 8 of 11 Mythic now. Why don't you share some of your thoughts on the bosses, Sparty?
So yeah, we killed the next couple bosses, which have been fine. I think the first bunch of bosses up until probably Iminar are the early on bosses. They're relatively easy in terms of difficulty scaling. They should take the average guild like mine. It's under 50 attempts. ENR, I mean, it is fine as long as you've got a decent strat set up in your teams and things like that. You know where to go. I finally got my couple of ENR kills recently. People are starting to hate ENR. Initially it was, oh, this is a really cool encounter, which we knew what was going to be because it's a tower defense style. I still like it. I mean, I don't mind flying around and going from one group to another as long as you know where you're going and you're not lost. But I think it's going to turn into a Hellfire Assault pretty quickly, which is fine because, our gear is there. It'd be nice with those encounters to have some kind of speed up mechanic, right? Hit a button, start the next wave. Just to make it a little bit easier for players.
I still think you need Benny Hill music with ENR.
Whenever you're flying. Iminar has been a good encounter. It's, how much can you dodge things? It's all about positional play. Again, it's one of those encounters that was designed decently by the developers, but players are too smart. Players are going to use, Demon Hunters so they can dash through really quickly with a Blessing Protection and break all the beams and use cooldowns. So I'm not sure it's the way it was intended to be done, but, the Warcraft devs will do let that kind of stuff slide. which, I mean, it's an okay encounter. It's fine as long as people stay alive and, you know, you pre-plan. It's decent for a Mythic encounter. Kingroth is a fun one. I mean, not too many new things. It's, you know, dodging balls again. It's, if you're at that level, if you're getting to Kingroth, you're probably dodging these things correctly, and that's where the first bunch of Mythic bosses start up or ramp up in terms of difficulty. So it's been fun. I haven't gotten a kill yet. The Adam, our other paladin, has been in for the kills, which is fine. But then we moved on to Varamathras, which is a super easy kill. Mechanically, incredibly easy. We had positional issues for quite a few attempts. We actually got the kill a week later than I was hoping we would, just because we ran out of time on that raid week, and we're not going to raid on Christmas, so we're not one of those guilds that, you know, hey, we raid 3 days a week, except on these weeks that end in Y, then we raid, you know, 5 days a week. But yeah, Varamathras was fine. I mean, it's, again, easy mechanically. There's, you know, 2 necrotic plagues that then spawn an ad. And it all comes down to the, you know, the rules of raiding, you know, which is always stand in the right spot, number 1. Number 2, kill the ads. And if you do those 2 things, you will always defeat the encounter no matter what. You know what, you know, gear will come with time. So
I thought the goal was just to have more health, your health above 0, where the boss's health was 0. I didn't think there was anything else important.
yeah, but that's the end goal, right? Like, that's the kind of New Year's resolution stuff we'll talk about later. You need to start with the small stuff, right? The small stuff is being in the right spot. Are you always standing in the right spot? But, you know, I'm going to get into a whole tangent, the whole Coach's Corner discussion here in a second with standing in the right spot.
So speaking of New Year's resolutions, Sparty, what are yours?
My New Year's resolutions. I don't know. The first one that, you know, that I would always like to use is I want to quit Warcraft. I've been trying to quit Warcraft since AQ40. Maybe this year will be the year. Who knows? Who knows? I'll, you know, kick this addiction.
I don't like that resolution.
Well, you did hear about the World Health Organization, you know, labeling gaming or gaming addiction as an, you know, legitimate addiction, right?
Yeah, I saw that. I rolled my eyes once or twice too.
Well, I mean, like anything else, you know, we could get into this topic, but I mean, everything can be an addiction depending on how much it affects your real life. You know, and there's varying levels of that. But I guess we could maybe have the discussion next week. That'd be a really good topic. But anyway, back to New Year's resolutions. With me specifically, aside from trying to quit Warcraft this year, like every other year, I want to just reconnect with a lot of the players that I have. Just start more conversations with my own little players, whether it's retired players, a lot of the Zeros to Heroes guys, and just, you know, just every day chat with some new person, right? See how things are going and maintain those relationships. That's something I want to do better this year. What about you?
Well, I'll let you know that Midgettes isn't a big New Year's resolution type of person. I will be the same adorable, cute gnome at 11:59 that I will be at 12:01.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, I think that resolutions have a good basis in the world because you get a place where you're continuing to improve either yourself or your community or those around you.
Yep.
I just don't happen to think that November 1st is the great workout. Speaking of workout, if you look at the gyms in January, they're packed, and in December they're not. So it's something that we can work about, and I think that sort of works into what you wanted to rant about. Isn't this Sparty's soapbox?
Yeah, so let's move into our next little, you know, segment here, Sparty's soapbox, where I will rant about something. But not so much rant here, it's more so about New Year's resolutions, and there's a number of really good strategies to go forward. Where if you guys are setting New Year's resolutions, whatever they may be, don't set these really crazy lofty goals of, you know, I want to lose 30 pounds in, you know, this year, or I want to do something incredible like that. You need to set goals that are more so habit goals, right? So if your goal at the end is to actually, you know, lose weight or get healthier or whatever it is, well, then your New Year's resolution should be, I'm just going to walk 30 minutes every day, right? That is something much more easily attainable, much more measurable, and easier to do, right? Other really good ones are, I had a coworker that said, yeah, I'm just gonna, you know, floss every day because, you know, your teeth feel awesome afterwards, right? Just flossing, and it's a good little New Year resolution to have. One I had a couple of years ago was I had this, I guess 2-liter hand water bottle, whatever it is. And I said, I'm going to drink one of these every single day. And I mean, I lasted, you know, a few months doing that, and I felt pretty good just drinking more water and you know, staying healthy that way. But those are the kinds of things you should be setting for, right? I want to be in this kind of mythic guild. Okay, well, what are the steps to achieve that, right? I want to increase my DPS by 10%. Well, that's a very measurable goal, right? My activity time, for instance, when you look up on Warcraft logs, how often are you hitting your actual buttons? Are you mashing your keys? And then, are you mashing them correctly? Another really good one, again, for the community-minded ones of us, is just say hello to a guildie. That's what I want to do. Say hello to a guildie every day. Say hello to someone you don't talk to, right? Rebuilding those relationships. That's definitely what you want to do. You never want to burn bridges. You want to try to foster and cultivate a lot of those relationships that you guys already have. And that'll be my big one here, too. People that, I may not have ended on the best terms of, trying to, go back and, see if things can be resolved, or just going to my own guildies, trying to bond with some of my applicants and that kind of stuff. And it takes a little bit of extra effort. Yes, it absolutely does. But at the end, it is absolutely worth it. And of course, it makes our communities, our guilds, a much better place. So if everyone did something like that, I think it'd be, in a great spot. So that's
I like the pay it forward community ideas always, because we strengthen not only ourselves but the community around us by doing little things. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe that's always been my objection to New Year's resolutions, is they always seem so grandiose. And if you just make it a habit, or you do it every day, and you just do little steps and you make it better, whether it's learning, for example, to strafe instead of keyboard turn and key binding. There's a lot of things you can do in game for yourself, and things that make you feel better. But at the end of the day, I think we all do better by helping others.
Absolutely, for sure. Well, with that, let's go into our fun little segment here. So for those of you familiar with the David Letterman top 10 lists, for those of you old enough to remember him, I guess many of our viewers are too young for that. But he does have this awesome, hilarious, satirical top 10 list. Ours are definitely a lot more serious than his, as we are very serious people here. There is no sarcasm at all in these.
No sarcasm.
No, none at all. No, these are 100% legitimate top 10 list of 10 things that the community loved in 2017 in Legion, and we would love to see again in 2018. So this is to the Warcraft devs. Thank you for an amazing year. But let's start off with our top 10 list here. Do you want to get us started?
All right. Well, number 10 on the list is Nami. We just need more Nami. It was so exciting to use up all of our gathered resources to get burnt food. Burnt food is such a thing that all of our recipes in real life are burnt as well.
This is true, right? It's and for those of you who pronounce it Nomi or Nami, whatever, right? This is the damn panda that was burning Teldrassil, that was burning everything that we had so much joy in. So we'd love to bring Nomi back. My hope is Battle for Azeroth will bring, multiple Nomis. But we know based off
Nomis. Absolutely.
I hope so, right? Could you imagine if we had that for every single profession, a Nomi, and let's say you want to blacksmith some things? No, I'm sorry. That ore is burnt. Try again.
Try again. And come back later and bring us more mats, because we're hungry for mats. So what's number 9, Sparty?
So number 9 on our list was more rank 3 recipes for potions that drop off a world boss that only appears once every 12 months. Right? For those of you familiar with the prolonged recipe, a year? A year is what it took for it to come back. Thankfully, Warcraft devs had set it in a timer and not randomness, because we do love randomness, especially in Legion. There's not enough of it. Hopefully we'll see some more. By the time Battle for Azeroth is out, prolonged power might be have been replaced, but the world boss may not come back until 2019. So we'll see.
We'll see, and I know that one was one of my favorites. Another one of my favorites, which is number 8, more time-specific appearances in transmog items. My bronze-tinted glasses were only available for a few weeks, and I'll try to remember them when it comes around to next year.
Those, yes, those had quite a bit of an uproar this year with these bronze-tinted glasses that only came around a little bit. I mean, similar to the Halloween brooms and everything else, but yes, we need more limited edition things that you can only use for a day. Maybe the next step is gear. Gear that you can only use for that week.
Oh, I like that idea. Let's give a best in slot trinket that raiders can only use on Saturdays and Sundays.
All right. And that takes us to number 7 here, mechanics. So we had a lot of fun in Legion, especially Tomb of Sargeras, with certain mechanics. Some more challenging than others. Definitely the most challenging mechanic, and goes back to, the rule of Warcraft, was soaking. We need more soaking mechanics. We need more mechanics where rogues probably are a little bit stronger than everyone else. I think if every Battle for Azeroth, every 2018 encounter had some kind of soaking, whether it's, soaking in a tub or soaking with paper towel or soaking where your players could jump in, that would be fantastic, right? The other big one is more green on green. We don't need a color variance. If the raid is green, we need more green mechanics. If the raid is red, right? If there's red on the floor, well, we obviously need lava mechanics that you can't see very well. But yes, we'd like to see more of those. Thank you, Warcraft devs.
Yes, we love those color on colors. I think one of my favorites was in Siege, the purple on purple on the last boss. Yeah. I like that one. So what about that moves us on to number 6, AP upgrades. We loved the ongoing growing artifact power increases, and we loved having to do it for 3 different specs. The best part of that was getting to a goal, and then all of a sudden the goal line was moved. I have to ask Warcraft devs, what's the number after trillion?
It's obviously 2 trillion, right? I mean, that comes after
Bazillion?
1 trillion. No, it's 2 trillion. But no, I mean, I completely agree. AP has been a fantastic asset to this game. You're right, though. They give you a goal, and you're getting close to that goal, and then they just make the goal even further. But doesn't that make you a better person, a better player, because you keep striving to do more and improve yourself?
Won all of the world quests to get it. There you have it.
That's
so
right.
What's next? What's number 5?
Number 5, legendary essences. We love them as a currency. We've had to always have the right amount. This one, I don't know. It's legendary essences. We love them. They're I'm glad they're now a currency and not a stackable item that stops at 50. We need more things like this. We need more of these random currencies in our currency tab. I don't know. It was a fun one. It was a fun one where I'm glad they made some changes, but hopefully we can see more currencies and more things that only go up to 50.
Oh, I don't know. I always have exact funds in my wallet, and so an extra $100 isn't important because it's over the limit. So,
well, your wallet can only hold so much.
Right.
All right, and what is number 4?
Non-stackable items. Because we have an abundance of bag space, we would like many more upgrade tokens that don't stack for necessary trinkets that have a random drop. So if I still haven't seen that trinket in 2019, I would like to make sure that I fill up every bag space I have.
Well, that's a great thing that Warcraft devs have implemented, right? We do have void storage. We have more bags. We will have the 20-slot bag with the authenticator. More non-stackable items is fantastic because what else are you going to fill your bags with if not item upgrades you will never use? Perfect.
So what's number 3, Sparty?
Well, obviously this is something that people love, and it's best in slot 860 trinkets that drop from World Boss, appearing once every 3 months. Right? I mean, yes, there's relinquished, but don't you just love the strength of some of these trinkets? And you can't get it, once every 3 months, or once every 3 months, that best in slot trinket will actually be an artifact power token, right? And then it goes back to our.
That would be exciting.
How else will we get to 2 trillion?
Well, no, I've been told it's quadrillion, quintillion, and sextillion that we need to be worrying about. I'm glad somebody looked it up for us. but
that's right. Those
trinkets are the best thing because nobody wants them.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is trying to get them. And the fact that they are, 3 tiers back? And still outperforming our favorite item in game. And for those who don't know what that is, I think we're talking about the Arcana Crystal.
I can't believe that this 860 crappy item is still outperforming a lot of these mythic quality trinkets. It bogs my mind because, yes, and we can go on a little tangent here. they've fixed trinkets like this. Remember, if they're OP trinkets, they will typically fix them or nerf them, whether it's Convergence or Candlegate or whatever. But let's move on to number 2 of our top 10 list here, of the best things of 2017 that we've loved.
We need more legendaries. It's a toss-up of which we liked better. The need for 20 plus storage slots for all of them, or the chance of getting those best in slot legendary items is the very last drop, which really made the class a joy to play.
Yes. Wait. Take me back here for a second. Are we able to delete legendaries at this point? Didn't they remove that functionality?
I don't think we can delete them. I think we're stuck with them.
So we're stuck with these orange, shiny pieces of smelly stuff. We're stuck with them now.
Of smelly stuff, they're devalued. We love the fact that legendaries have no value at this point.
Maybe that is something we need to change for 2018, that legendaries can be deleted going to the next expansions.
Either that or I need a far more bag slots. But let's go to the very best, the number 1. What is the very best thing that we liked in our top 10 list for Warcraft Devs?
And I know our stream viewers as well as our podcast listeners will absolutely guarantee this. This is the number 1 feature that we've loved of 2017 and of Legion. What we would like to see in 2018 is more Titan Forge upgrades. Titan Forging is amazing. We love randomness, right? That is an MMO. From LFR to time walking to world quests. I love seeing people that are doing time walking and suddenly get a 975 quality trinket out of it. From world quests to Mythic Plus to follower quests, it's great to open these up to everybody. I think every single person out there should be doing time walking and getting these amazing trinkets when they win the lottery. We're still waiting for that Titan Forged Arcano Crystal. I know some of my guildies do have some lucky ones. Or that Tarnished Sentinel Medallion, right? That is the best part of the surprise. But RNG is our friend. We want more of this. So thank you, Warcraft Devs, for these 10 amazing things in 2017.
Well, I think we have something for a special mention, don't we?
Yes, so as our special mention here, it wouldn't be a top 10 list without a special mention. Community testing, right? We definitely want to see more community testing. Special thanks to Method and Exodus finding the timing overlaps that the Warcraft devs were unable to find. The internal testing team was, they clearly tested Mythic Kil'jaeden extremely well. They did miss some timing overlaps, right? Which does happen. It's happened on Dragons and things like that, but, good job, top guilds, for testing the content for the rest of us. Good job, US guilds, for testing the content for the EU guilds, who could then take world first. But I finding, however you want to call it. But I think the best part of this last tier has been that no guilds were banned. No guilds were banned in the search for a world first or second or third or, world first, US 50th, whatever it was.
No guilds this year. Isn't that amazing?
I think it's amazing. I think it's a great turnaround in this community that nobody has been banned yet. We'll see what happens in 2018.
We'll see what happens in 2018. And I hope that everybody takes this top 10 list with the spirit of fun that it was intended.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you for the awesome top 10 list. And yes, it was, for those of you super serious, a bit of a sarcastic, because Sparty is never sarcastic, kind of top 10 list. It was a good one. But with that, we're going to close out here. Thank you guys for listening to our 10th podcast. Again, an amazing one. Thank you, Midgettes, for all your hard work in producing the show and all the notes. We do have a couple things to finish mentioning. Again, our Winter Veil contest on our Twitter. So post a picture of yourself in the Winter Veil garb with a boss. We have pets, mounts, transmogs, all that stuff to give away, as well as share with us on Twitter or Facebook something awesome you've done for somebody else in the community during this Winter Veil season. We have lots of these prizes to give away. Please let us give away free stuff. If you don't participate, I don't know what to do with these things. I might just give them back to Blizzard, honestly. And then, of course, our last big thing is Buddy Birds. And through our different streamers, whether it's myself, Towley, Firemancer, Zorania, Scryax, we invite people to, again, come to a Heroic Argus guild. For someone that is not able to kill Heroic Argus, that wants the awesome Violet Spellwing mount, we want you to come join us. we want you to nominate your friend. So if you have an awesome friend that is really good, that's really awesome stuff for the community, or has been a really good friend to you, that is not able to kill Heroic Argus, or, you know, won't be able to do it for a long time, or they don't raid, but it is a cool mount and you want them to get their head of the curve, send us an email to bestinslotpodcast@gmail.com, and of course, we would love to carry your friend through Heroic Argus. But yeah,
don't forget that Zeros to Heroes community is also helping with these runs, so there'll be more coming in 2018.
Absolutely.
With that being said, Happy New Year from Midgettes.
And Happy New Year from Sparty as well. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in 2018. Thank you so much for everything. Have a good one.